Welcome back, Starknet enthusiasts. You're tuned into Starknet Espresso, your go-to source for the latest insights and developments in the world of Starknet. Today we'll be discussing a very exciting area of the blockchain, on-chain gaming. And who better to discuss this with us than Kenny? Kenny is an expert in Dojo and on-chain gaming, and it's a pleasure to have him with us today. Welcome to the show, Kenny. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I know you've been busy lately, and I'm very happy you finally made our time to join us on Starknet Espresso today. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry it took a while to respond to the call, but yeah, here I am now. So let's get this started.
Oh, okay, yeah. One of the things that I've been fascinated with on Starknet is Dojo. I've not had so much time to look into it properly. But from our conversations prior to now, I know you've been doing a lot of work on Dojo and Dojo Engine. So I think the good question would be, what is Dojo and why is it generating so much buzz in the Starknet ecosystem?
So basically, Dojo is a framework for building on-chain games within Starknet ecosystem. And it basically allows developers to create and deploy games and also interact directly with something called word contract in blockchain. And basically, Dojo provides an advanced abstraction layer over Cairo. So in some sense, it mirrors React's kind of relationship with JavaScript. So basically, its specialized architecture simplifies game design and development. And the excitement around Dojo stems from its ability to offer new level of transparency, ownership, decentralized gaming. And if you come to think about it, if you come to think of it, traditional gaming often relies on the likes of centralized servers to handle their game logic and player interaction, which in some sense limits transparency. But Dojo actually enables developers to move their game logic off centralized services onto the blockchain and ensures that, let's say, things like battles or player stats are like verifiable and they are like tamper-proof. And again, Dojo, Dojos that are games that are powered by Dojo, that is, say, in-game assets like characters, items, currency, can be represented with NFTs or other blockchain-based tokens. And this, in some sense, gives the players a true sense of ownership of these items. And do you know what the best part is? The best part is that Dojo is built on top of Starknet, which makes it feasible to run more complex game mechanics and interactions on chain. And also that, when dealing with Ethereum layer one, basically you have congestion issues and low throughput. But with Dojo, there is no risk of high gas fee or any form of latency you would experience on Ethereum layer one. And also, Dojo, in some sense, has attracted significant attention because of its growing developer community and shared resources, collaboration between projects. You see them like all over Twitter, and the idea of an open shared game world where multiple developers can contribute to the same ecosystem is honestly incredibly, and it's appealing. Yeah.
Sounds fascinating. It seems like Dojo is doing a lot of work on the blockchain as far as gaming is concerned. And you've
Yeah.
mentioned a couple of difference between the traditional gaming and on-chain gaming, right?
Yeah.
I think just for someone that is like getting into this whole euphoria at the moment, like let's say somebody that has been on Web2, can you specifically just, describe by your own, in simple terms, what on-chain gaming is all about?
Okay. So basically, you have normal games that you play on chain, let's say the likes of tic-tac-toe or the likes of, let's say, Mortal Kombat or the likes of different kind of games that you play normally off chain, right? So, and we all have this idea that the likes of game studios, they tend to like anchor all these things. Yep. Now we want to like, abstract this whole process and remove it away from centralized bodies and move everything on chain, like on the blockchain. So imagine all the regular, native games being played off chain. Imagine them being played on the blockchain. That is exactly what the whole on-chain gaming, encompasses.
Okay. So just to be sure I understand, we are talking about when we talk about on-chain gaming, we are talking about transparency, we are talking about ownership, and we're talking about decentralization. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes, that's very,
Yeah.
very correct.
It sounds like a major advantage over the, or what would you say, the traditional gaming systems. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So one other thing I would like to address, I mean, you talked about, and I think for everyone that has come on the show, and I think this is the buzz of the moment as far as Starknet ecosystem is concerned. Because I think a couple of weeks ago, Starknet released the new updates, Starknet 0.13. I think that's the update, and TPS is at 250 at the moment. And I think that is going to, speed up a lot of things as far as the gaming world is concerned. Have you looked into the update and how it's revolutionizing the whole gaming system, and what effect does it have for you as a Dojo developer?
Okay, so when you hear Starknet, the first that comes to my mind is speed. And for us to, simulate the normal traditional game moves, like for us, like, simulate the same way traditional game works on the blockchain, we need the same level of speed. And this
Yeah.
level of speed is something Starknet can offer. And the fact that Dojo is being built on Starknet, it gives Dojo the ability to leverage this speed to develop, to allow games or other ecosystems to like, develop games on top of Dojo. So with the whole upgrade and stuff, it's, with the whole upgrade, it comes with increased throughput. It comes with speed, which is a major advantage for Dojo developers.
Yeah.
It only means that faster transaction confirmation, and it makes the whole gameplay it goes smooth, it goes faster and stuff. Yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, sure, it did. Sure, it did. I mean, I always talk about this upgrade in almost all my sessions because I know it has an impact virtually across all, what would you say, the Starknet ecosystem. So one other thing I'm thinking now is, what are the hurdles in the on-chain gaming world? And I say this because I know we've talked about speed now, but are there other challenges or hurdles that the on-chain gaming world faces, and how is Dojo, if there's one, how is Dojo affecting and improving and solving this problem?
Okay, so on-chain gaming has incredible potential, yes, but it also actually faces some challenges, and these challenges have to be like overcome to in order for us like reach mainstream adoption. And some of the biggest challenges is actually scalability, user experience, development complexity, security. And okay, in terms of scalability and performance, so, basically, blockchain networks, especially layer ones, like Ethereum, they struggle with scalability, which we all know, it's like general knowledge. And processing transactions, each in-game action, let's say attacks, item trades, or move. Okay, I need to clarify something. For every move you make for on-chain games, each of those moves are transactions, right?
Yeah.
And if you are going to like, bring this kind of transaction activities on top of Ethereum, it will make Ethereum, slow and expensive due to network congestion and consequently resulting to high gas fees, right? But
Yeah.
since Dojo is built on top of Starknet, which is a layer 2 solution that uses ZK rollups, so it consequently solves the scalability or throughput issue. And you should understand that Dojo significantly reduces game transaction costs, due to the increased throughput offered by Starknet. And since Starknet allows main transactions to be bundled together off-chain, then posted to Ethereum as a single batch, it gives the on-chain games that are being built on Dojo be bundled together, like easy to like interact with. So each of the games that have been developed on Dojo, instead of dealing with transactions like in a slow manner, Dojo tends to like bundle up this transaction together, send it on to Starknet. Starknet in turn also like bundles the transaction together and then send it down to Ethereum. In that sense, it solves the scalability issue that faces on-chain gaming. And
Yeah.
another challenge, another challenge is the complexity of on-chain game development. So developing on-chain games is more complex compared to traditional game development, but developers will have to deal with, blockchain infrastructures, write secure smart contract, manage token economies, all this stuff. It's present a steep learning curve, especially for game developers that are not familiar with blockchain initially. But fortunately, Dojo provides a modular framework specifically designed for on-chain games. It abstracts most of the complexities around blockchain, and it offers reusable components and two chains for ease of development. So this allows game developers to focus more on the game design, game logic, rather than have to focus on the intricacies of blockchain infrastructure. And also, there's the challenge of user experience and onboarding. Ideally, blockchain game requires that players interact with their wallets,
Yeah.
and then it's private keys, pay for gas fee, do all those stuff that involves wallet and transaction signing. And this can create friction in some sense and drive away mainstream gamers who are used to the normal seamless free-to-play models that are in the traditional gaming system.
Yeah.
Now, while Dojo itself focuses on development side, its integration with Starknet, it provides a more user-friendly experience, by one, lowering gas costs. Why would I have to pay a gas fee of $20 just because I want to play a game, right? It doesn't sound, yeah, exactly. So, but with Dojo, it lowers the gas costs and it also enables, faster transactions. And furthermore, projects within the ecosystem are actually working on solutions like Bona wallets, gasless transactions, meta transactions,
Yeah.
simplified wallet onboarding processes, just like reduce the hassle that users have to go through before they can get onboarded into on-chain gaming. And then also, there's the question of security and game integrity. Yes. When it comes to on-chain gaming, of course, they are more exposed to, let's say, security risks like hacks or exploits.
Yeah.
There are vulnerabilities in smart contracts every now and then. You get so a compromised game would only mean that players can lose their money in the game.
Yeah.
So, which is also a major challenge, right? But fortunately enough, Dojo's model architecture promotes best practices, and it also provides rebuilds and secure components that developers can utilize while building their games. And instead of writing certain game logic from scratch, developers can like make use of audited libraries provided by Dojo and also
Oh,
certain
okay.
frameworks to likelihood of introducing vulnerability to their smart contracts. And yes, as a plus, right? Dojo is built on
Yeah.
Starknet, and Starknet uses zero-knowledge proofs that
Yeah.
enhances security by verifying offline computation without exposing sensitive data. So yeah.
That's a lot of challenges that you mentioned and how Dojo basically solves those problems, which is, I think, it's quite impressive to say the least on how they have managed to, have all these things in check. One thing that is also good to mention, like I'm thinking of blockchain in general, and my knowledge on Dojo is very limited. But I'm thinking of blockchain in general. Every time we make a state change, and I assume there's going to be a lot of state changes when you're playing games. There will be costs to these transactions. And I'm just trying to point this out, and maybe you can add something at the end of it. One thing the new Starknet update did was I was talking to Evans, one of the developers in Starknet ecosystem, and we were talking about their transaction cost. I think even Cass talked about it, how transaction cost is so minimal now. So you could do,
Yeah.
I think it was Evans that mentioned something like that. I think you could do 1,000 transactions and you've not still spent up to $1 with the new
Mm.
update and everything, the parallel execution and stuff that are happening. And for me, I think from what you have discussed now, from what you said, I think it impacts the game in Dojo as a whole, but on-chain game in general in so much positive way that we are no longer more concerned about the cost of playing games on the ecosystem. And this is a consequence of what Starknet is doing at the moment. But how do you see what do you think about it?
Well, I think with the whole upgrade going on, which we spoke about earlier,
Yeah.
yes, the transaction costs be reduced drastically. It's a plus on the on-chain gaming world because it ultimately means that we can play games without having to worry so much about the transaction cost. So as a matter of fact, I can say play an on-chain game for say probably over for 24 hours and not spend more than maybe $2 on transaction on gas fee, not more than
Wow.
$2. And with the hope that while playing these games, there is some sense of incentives that will be generated while I'm playing this game, um, depending on the architecture of the game. So, the way certain on-chain games are right now, you can farm them, you know, you can farm certain NFTs, farm certain tokens, which may in turn maybe be converted to monetary stuffs, like maybe in terms of dollars or maybe let's say USDT, USDC. These are actually one of the advantages of on-chain games. It gives you the opportunity to monetize your gameplays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So to a very very large extent, I can say that the whole pilot execution, low transaction cost when it comes to gas fee, it is awesome and it is a plus for the Dojo ecosystem and every other ecosystem building on top of Dojo.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. That seems like it's nice. I mean, generally, Starknet is doing wonderfully, and Dojo is also at the top game of it, and it's fascinating to hear you talk about Dojo in such way. And the funny thing is, like, I've never really paid attention to Dojo. And the little knowledge I've had of Dojo is just based on what you've talked about based on our prior conversation. And hearing you talk about it now in with such excitement, it's something that I find fascinating. And it seems like they are doing a very good job too at facilitating on-chain gaming too. So one other thing that I was going to mention, not one other thing, but it's more of a question to you. Are there other projects that you've worked on Starknet, and would you want to talk about those projects?
Okay. I've worked on Satoru Codebase, contributed to their test cases. I've worked on Scaffold Stark. Yeah, I've worked on Dojo Book. I worked on Dojo Codebase itself. Also, I migrated the Dojo chess game, migrated it from the previous version to version 3 or thereabout. Then, yeah, also built a tic-tac-toe gaming on top of Dojo. And I think my most recent is Scaffold Stack, actually. My most recent is Scaffold Stack. Yeah. And I'm currently working on a YouTube series, on building on Starknet as well. So yeah, also yeah, I contributed to what's it called? I contributed to the Starknet book as well. Yeah, updated the book, did some example on it as well. So, but my most recent is Scaffold Stack, and the one that is currently in progress is a YouTube series that is centered on building on Starknet.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you want to throw a little light on what Scaffold
Scaffold.
Stark is all about? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Scaffold Stack is like is an open source toolkit designed for building decentralized applications on Starknet, and it streamlines the development process by providing tools that help developers to easily create, deploy smart contracts, and also build front-end interface that's interact with this contract.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
it actually makes use of just basic Next.js, Starknet.js, Scab and the likes, just to ensure smooth development and experience. So there are quite a number of advantages attached to this toolkit, right? So there is this feature of fast reload. So
yeah.
let's say you're working on smart contracts right now using their toolkit, and you've written the whole logic, and you want to test on the front end and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It reloads immediately, simulates, gets the whole API, abstracts the whole process of having to connect the front end yourself. All you have to do is just to deploy the contract. When you deploy the contract, the front end interface will interact directly with your smart contract. So
Yeah.
will, you know, it will reduce the friction of having to first deploy the contract, then writing a simple front end for you to interact with that contract. No, it abstract those whole process. All you have to do is just to make use
Oh,
of the toolkit,
interesting.
write your contract, deploy using their toolkit, then interact with the smart contract on their front end. So and
Oh,
so also actually they give room for testing on DevNet, testing on Sepulia, right? So and you have pre-funded accounts for the testnet already. All you have to do is just write your contract, deploy, start testing on both on the contract end of things and on the front end of things.
oh, wonderful. Wonderful. You mentioned, just to be sure I get it clear, when you say the, what would you say, the tool allows you to interact with the smart contract. So it automatically develops, what would you say, provides access to functions within your smart contract. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's correct. So
Oh,
basically just think of it as an explorer. It just exposes all the functions in your smart contract on the front end side of things. So let's say you
would
have
you
three
consider it
of
to be, sorry to cut you,
go
would
on,
you
please.
consider it to be something like Remix?
What?
Would you consider it to be something approximating Remix?
Yeah, in some sense, yes, it does work.
Oh,
Yeah, similar
oh,
to remix does actually, yes,
oh,
in
okay,
some sense.
okay, yeah, that makes a lot of more sense now. Yeah, so I don't think there's much description that needs to go into the second one. I know you've mentioned the scaffold, but I think the second one, which is your most recent project, is the YouTube series on Cairo, right?
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So, you want me to shed more light on that?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Okay. So, as for my YouTube series, it's Starknet Contract Programmer. So, Starknet Contract Programmer. So, it is dedicated to helping developers, whether you're a beginner or you're a seasoned coder. It helps you master the art of building on Starknet. And the step-by-step tutorials, it covers everything from the basics of Cairo programming language to advanced smart contract development. So, in the series, I explored quite a wide range of topics, focusing on tools, techniques, best practices you need to, build fast and secured scalable applications on Starknet. So
Yeah.
if you are interested in deep dive into Starknet contract development, my channel is a great place to start.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We'll get to that probably at the end of the show. Are you also
All right.
teaching? Will you also be taking dojo classes on your channel?
So yeah, it's a work in progress. So it's
Oh,
part of my map, right? It's part of my roadmap. I'm going to also create tutorials on building games on top of Dojo. So right,
okay.
so part of my roadmap as well is like doing some kind of demo for various protocols on Starknet ecosystem.
Yeah,
So let's say the game was launched now. Let's say the game was launched. I can, go ahead, test the game, show people around how the game works and stuff like that. Or let's say a protocol like Ekubo, to swap and stuff like that.
yeah.
I've also, as part of my roadmap, I also have intentions to big videos surrounding these ecosystems, show users how this works, make them understand. So, just like onboard more users onto the Starknet ecosystem. So yeah, that's that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Um, it's to be honest, it's been incredible having you on the show. I know we've gone back and forth on trying to get this to happen, and I would honestly say the wait was worth it. And so before we round up, so you have your YouTube channel. I'm sure you have social media handles too that you want. If our viewers will want to reach out to you to learn more about everything that you talked about today, how do they reach you? Maybe drop your YouTube handle, your Twitter handle, and every other social media handle that we can get to. You can use to get across to you. Yeah.
So yeah, you can reach me on Twitter with Kentman18, and on Telegram you can reach me with at I am Kentman on Telegram. So if you want to send me email, you can send me an email via starknetcontractprogrammer@gmail.com. That works
Oh,
as well.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. Kenny, to be honest, it's fantastic having you on the show, and I hope this wouldn't be the last time that we'll be having, because I think there are more things coming up on Starknet. I think there will be more
Yeah.
updates coming, even as Starknet needs more updates. I think Dojo will be implementing some of the updates too. So I'm hoping to have you here more to talk about not just on game changing, but other projects that you're working on too. But it's been fantastic, spending this time and sharing your insight with us. It's really, what would you say, incredible to have you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenny, for joining us and sharing your insights and vision with us today. To our viewers watching, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future episodes. We'll be bringing you more deep dives and expert insights right here on Starknet Espresso. Until then, keep watching, keep building, and keep innovating. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.